Instead, Jimmy G has taken this opportunity to mentor the young rookie, which I think is very nice. So far, Trey Lance has nothing but good things to say about Jimmy.
Yeah, it's been awesome. He's a great guy. I mean, one of the best people I've been around. And I've been fortunate to be around some, I think, really, really great people. And you know, guys that are going to play today and guys that are still in that locker room right now. Jimmy's just like it, and that organization is the same exact way. So I just feel, like I said, very blessed and fortunate to be where I am and be able to be a part of something like this.
I've heard Garoppolo's a good guy. I've heard that from multiple people.
Well, I mean, the locker room loves him.
Yeah.
He still has a lot of support in the locker room. So I don't doubt that at all. I just think this is a very smart move by Jimmy G. And we talk about it all the time. It's better to be a lubricator than an irritant. You know that they brought him in to be the future of the franchise.
Right.
And he said he did talk about, like, he thought about for a second, should I ask for a trade? And then he, as we never do, as you mentioned in your opening rant, we don't really take the time to think things over. I like to give things a couple days, let my emotions subside, talk to a few people, sit with myself, think about what the decision is that I'm going to make before I make it. He did that, and he's like, you know what, I'll go out and win the job, or I won't, but if I don't win it, I want, you know, to have a good reputation and a good situation on the way out. There's a long runway for quarterbacks who are great in the locker room, who have skill, which Jimmy G has, and are good teammates. Like, that's, we see a lot of guys have very long careers in that space. And I'm not saying that Jimmy G is, like, going to go be this journeyman backup. I don't think he's at that point in his career, but he does have a long injury history, and this is a good thing for him to do.
Also, you know, Denver's looking for a quarterback. If you told me today Garoppolo is a starting quarterback for Denver, I'd be like, okay, that feels like a playoff team. You know, it's very funny. Maybe because Garoppolo's so shockingly good looking or something. There's this, like, animus or this disrespect for him. We know Kyle Shanahan's a great coach. Look at his record without Jimmy G. It's terrible. Jimmy G, the year he started, got to a Super Bowl. I think that Shanahan's thought of as so brilliant, and their defensive line was so frighteningly good that we think that he managed his way to the Super Bowl.
Right.
And it's like, no, he outplayed Mahomes for 3 of the 4 quarters in the Super Bowl, and had he completed one more pass on a deep throw, he didn't miss it by a mile, Jimmy G would have a Super Bowl. So it's like, if Jimmy G can stay healthy, San Francisco's a top 3 team in the league.
Well, that's the issue.
Yes.
Like, his story has become that he is inconsistent only because he can't stay on the field. I think he obviously, and it's not a think, he does have the ability to lead a team to a Super Bowl. He did it.
Yes.
It's the same thing with Jared Goff. Like, he has the ability. He did it.
Right.
Whatever you think about, you know, who managed what or whatever, like, coaches matter too. Like, they deserve some credit. Like, they do a lot. You know, the guy has to still go out on the field and perform what the coach is asking him to do. So I think Jimmy G still has a long career ahead of him. He just has to figure out how to stay healthy. And the writing's on the wall with the 49ers. So why not make it a good situation?
Yeah, totally agree. Joy with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Lie News.
Good stuff today. Oh, by the way, top of next hour.
One of the NBA Finals tonight. Giannis is officially listed as doubtful for tonight's game. He's still recovering from hyperextended knee that he suffered in Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals. He's reportedly going to fight tooth and nail to be in the lineup. And Mike Budenholzer said the situation for Giannis is currently day to day. This sucks. Obviously, we'd love to see Giannis, and we'd love to see the Suns and the Bucks at full speed for the NBA Finals. And you want the stars. It's been a rough year for injuries, especially to stars throughout the NBA, and it's definitely affected this playoff run, as it does every single year, but it does feel like there's a little bit more this year. And the Suns are healthy, and that's why they're there, and overall the Bucks have been healthy through the playoffs, and that's why they're there.
You know, but I'll say this. The Hawks won without Trey, Bucks won 2 without Giannis, Suns won without Chris Paul. The one thing it is interesting. So the Suns are going to have to prepare for 2 teams. No Giannis and Giannis. And that means 2 different looks in the half-court set. And we've seen the Hawks, the Suns, and the Bucks win without their star. You don't get to the finals on one guy.
Right.
So we know that Brook Lopez will get more minutes and more points. And Middleton will get more points. And Drew Holiday will get more freedom. So I do think long-term you'd want Giannis in the finals. But for a game, I get a little better Drew, a little better Chris, a little more Brook Lopez, Portis. I think Milwaukee can hang. Now, they may get blown out, but there is a slight edge they're clearly capable of winning games without Giannis. You know who they aren't capable of winning without was Drew Holiday. Remember early in the year, Drew got hurt. We all went, whoa, whoa, whoa. Is Drew the most valuable player on that team?
Well, they're not going to win the finals without Giannis.
Right.
I don't believe that.
They need some.
Can they drag this out a few games? Can they make it competitive without him? Yeah, I think this will still be a long series. But my anxiety about the Giannis situation is you don't want to see a Kevin Durant situation where he comes back. It feels like the player is wanting to come back. He's not 100%. And then, boom, you have an injury that takes you out for an entire year. That's what you don't want to see. Now, it's the finals, so you want to do everything you possibly can to be on the court, obviously. It's just, I don't. This is the time when you want to rush somebody back, but we've seen what happens when you rush someone back and then they're out for an entire year.
Right.
So it's like, I would not want to be the person to have to make that call to put Giannis out there or not, but the Suns are not the Hawks. The Hawks had an incredible season and they were great, but the Suns are better. They're in the finals, and the Bucks. So I think that they can hang, to your point, but they're not going to beat the Suns without Giannis.
Yeah,
and
long term they need him. Do they need him tonight to win? No, I think they'll be competitive.
No, I don't think they need him tonight. And
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a long series anyway. I'm also hoping for a long series. The Suns are favored by 6 tonight. So I would like the Suns tonight with 6. And the Suns are favored minus 200 overall to win the series, according to Fox Bet. So the Lakers, been in conversations for a lot of moves this offseason. They need to make some moves. And the latest report is that they're interested in DeMar DeRozan. Bleacher Report suggested that a deal could make this happen. This is a deal that could happen. They proposed that the Suns sign and trade DeMar DeRozan to the Lakers in exchange for Montrezl Harrell, Kyle Kuzma, and the 22nd pick in the draft. I actually really like this move for the Lakers. I'd like to keep Montrezl Harrell, although it kind of seemed like some weird stuff happened at the end of the season.
With the Clippers too, his Clippers and Lakers, it just whatever it is about his personality with both, something doesn't rub
I
right.
just don't get it. He's 6th man of the year. Like, he's a
I know.
very valuable player. So I would like to keep him, but it just doesn't seem like that's working. DeRozan averaged 21.6 points, 4.2 rebounds, and 6.9 assists last season
He's a good
with
player.
the Spurs. He's a very consistent player.
Athletic.
He's played 12 NBA seasons, 9 with the Raptors, 3 with the Spurs. He's a 4-time All-Star. I would actually really like this move for the Lakers.
Well, it's interesting because analytically he doesn't shoot threes, and so we just cast away guys that don't shoot threes. But what we see in the playoffs, Joy, is the mid-range game is really valuable. So the bottom line is DeRozan in playoff games, half court, get you buckets. And what the Lakers don't have right now with brittle AD sometimes is AD's hurt, who gets us buckets?
He's also a veteran player.
Yeah,
LeBron likes playing with veteran players.
Yes.
He's a very smart player. LeBron likes playing with smart players. Not that Kyle Kuzma and Montrezl Harrell aren't smart players. That's not the point. But if you're going to bring somebody in, you want to bring someone in that is the style that LeBron likes playing with. Now, this would kind of imply that the Spurs are resetting a little bit.
Yes.
So is Popovich going to do that at this point? I don't know, but this would make their team much younger, and it would kind of be a rebuilding year.
Montrezl Harrell's an expiring contract, and they get a draft pick. So the coups aside, if you are rebuilding a little bit for San Antonio, you're like, we get a draft pick and a strong draft and an expiring contract. And
Kuzma's a nice player. Like,
he's fine.
We give Kuzma a hard time, but Kuzma is a nice player.
He can start for a championship team.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So Trey Lance was drafted this year, and someday we'll take Jimmy Garoppolo's job as the 49ers starting